Halo Campaign Evolved is the prime example of how lost and delusional modern game studios are. Howdy. My name's Austin, and today we are talking about the Halo remake, the good and bad, because I believe in being fair to games regardless of how, other people see them. Halo Campaign Evolved is a misleading title to an otherwise almost faithful and almost one-to-one remake of the original Halo game. If you take out the 3 new missions that don't actually do anything for the narrative at all, you have a game that feels like Halo in its gameplay. It has all the same music you love and the beats you expect.
This way!
I want to preface this video by telling you this video is going to be negative. Now, my intention is never to slam the developers behind the game because it's not like they woke up and decided they wanted to make a game that Austin fucking hates. That's just kidding. I don't actually hate it that much. They didn't want to wake up and make all the Halo fans mad. I mean, developers work super hard to put out games, even if they don't come out as intended, and I think we all need to remember that. But, that said, that's also not going to stop me from criticizing aspects of this game that slapped me across the face as a returning fan. Now, let's be honest, this game was marketed and, made for the diehard fans of Halo. I think they were expecting to get more newcomers onto the series because they're going to remake all of the games now, but I think this new version is an insult to the original developers, despite them being mentioned in the credits, which is a nice touch. But what is Halo? Well, if you asked anyone on the street what Halo was and they were a gamer back in the early 2000s, they would tell you that it's a first-person sci-fi shooter that defined an entire generation and brought the original Xbox to life. But Halo has grown significantly since then, and let's be honest, Halo 1 is so much more than that already. It's a game that plays with heavy themes and juggles different genres in a really effective way. It balances unnerving mystery, exploration, action, horror, and religious themes. I'd argue that it did all that and made it special through its tonality. A lot of the original Halo game is very, very ominous. There are a few lighthearted, jokey moments here or there, but the way the characters say their lines invokes panic and building mystery, but the remake takes a lot of that away in favoring for trying to be more goofy and lighthearted. I go as far as to say they may have done damage to one of the original characters. But before we get all deep divey into that stuff, let's talk about what I liked. This feels like Halo when you were playing it. Yeah, you can sprint now, but honestly, it doesn't really change the game up that much. The combat is a lot more fluid. You at a baseline move quicker, but I think my only negative with the new movement is it makes running past enemies so easy. Like, I played on Heroic and had no trouble running past entire groups of enemies in the late game. But the gunplay, the enemy AI, and overall sound design I think is great. There are a few quality of life improvements, like being able to pick up abilities and getting to choose when you use them instead of them activating by themselves. It adds a little bit of, tacticalness to it. The assault rifle sounds really good. I'm not a fan of the battle rifle, but I don't think you get that in the main game anyway, at least I didn't find it. Marty O'Donnell's composed music returns faithfully, which is, good, with it being just a little bit remastered to sound more punchy. This was probably the smartest move Halo Studios could have made because the music is almost more beloved than the games themselves, and it wouldn't feel like Halo without it. The same tracks play at the same time, so, they really nailed that. Overall, as an Unreal Engine 5 game running with a mix of the Blam engine from Halo Reach, it runs surprisingly well. I think I maybe had 2 frame drops. Yeah, I had 2 frame drops the entire game. I didn't have any crashes, but I do think it is really funny that the dev team couldn't rework the AI to make them smarter than they already are, because let's be honest, the Halo AI is kind of still ahead of its time. Like, not a lot of people try with their AI systems. They basically just stole already completed work and shoved it in here. But the gameplay is super smooth. I played on performance and it was great. Quality seemed to have a steady 30 FPS, but who the fuck is playing shooters on quality? I don't know, I guess some people do it. But speaking of visuals, I really liked the reworked environments and character models. Like, I love the new Forerunner architecture. I think there's enough detail and texture in it without it being overwhelming. I can't possibly understand why they keep changing Cortana's design though. They absolutely cooked with Halo 4's and they've changed it twice since. And in this game, it's not the best design for her, but I'm also not really going to nitpick that as a negative because I guess who really cares? Johnson and Keyes look dope, and Of course, Master Chief looks like a bar of diamond encrusted gold. He looks so good. Now, the cutscenes almost fool you into believing that they are cutscenes from Blur Studios, who did all of the CGI cutscenes for Halo 2 Anniversary, but you quickly realize they aren't. Guys, the cutscenes in this remake are not great. Visually, sure, for the most part, they look good. I mean, this guy looks like he just walked out of a PS2 Era Land game, but every single cutscene in the game had stuttering issues. Like, within the first 10 minutes of the game, I had over 6 stutters in pre-rendered cutscenes. Another stutter. What the fuck is going on? But it's not even just that. The animations for Chief and Cortana are stiff. There are audio sync issues, like someone firing a gun and the audio just not lining up with the timing of their firing. Visually, it's kind of embarrassing. Like, some look super good, and then some are like super campy, like Johnson breaking the fourth wall by smiling and looking into the camera. And I just don't know what happened here. In terms of writing, I guess not writing, but tonality. We'll come back to that in a little bit. This game is, like I said before, basically a one-to-one remake when it comes to the environments. The only thing they changed was the library, and they simply changed a few rooms into different layouts to stagger the repetition because, let's be honest, that level was terrible. They also added a visual growth of the flood infection as you go deeper into the facility, so you're at least getting like a visual feedback of your progress into the game. Aside from that level, it really is the same enemy placement, the same size rooms and layouts, which, you know, is great for the people that just wanted to play Halo again, or, you know, the Anniversary Edition that's like way cheaper. You could just play that. The problem is, this is a ground up remake, or so they said, but it really isn't, because they literally used Bungie's old code to bring the game together instead of trying to enhance the game. And that's the real problem I have with this game. It doesn't justify its existence at all. Maybe to the corporate world it does, because Microsoft are grasping onto Halo like I grasp onto my pizza because I'm worried someone's going to snag it from my hand. But in my personal opinion, a remake of a game is to keep the essence of the experience intact, while, ironically, evolving the experience into something new. Some people may just have wanted a better looking Halo, and that's fine, but charging this much money for a game that comes with nothing but an 8-hour campaign is a freaking joke. You know what? The actual irony of this is that Ubisoft actually made a remake worth making. Black Flag at its core is the same game people loved, but they improved it in almost every way. Seamless exploration, 6 hours of extra content, a reworked map, more things to discover, better parkour. I wouldn't say the combat's better personally, but a lot of people think it's better. New characters, more ways to customize Edward and his ship. It's definitely not perfect, but they knew they could enhance the experience, and they did. Halo is just, well, it's Halo.
Slow down. You're losing me.
And, like, that shouldn't be a negative ever, but there's no horde mode, no expanded levels, no multiplayer, no visual customization. I mean, Halo Studios sold people in early access with all of these cool skins. I mean, some not so cool. I bought it because I'm personally morally corrupt, but you can't even see them in the cutscenes that don't work because they're pre-rendered. It just doesn't make any sense to me how Halo Studios can be a literal part of Microsoft that has all of that code and shit from the last 3 Halo games and even Bungie's era Halo games, and they have done nothing, and they leave it all out. Like, ODST brought Firefight. Halo Reach brought extensive character customization with so much armor. Halo 4, it's a bit of a touchy subject with some fans, but it brought a human story that I really dug. Halo 5 had good gunplay, kind of. It felt more like Call of Duty, and the story was abysmal. And then Halo Infinite gave you more open environments with freedom to tackle objectives, and the grappling hook was so cool. And then just none of that is here. Like, I'm not saying they needed to bring all of that back, okay? But add to the experience. If they were going to put brutes in the opening missions with the new gameplay elements where if you shoot them in certain spots, they get enraged and attack their own allies, then why not just bring them over to the main game? Like, they're literally already in the game! Add new gameplay elements that make sense. They brought back sprint, but they didn't give you the ability to mantle. Like, why not have the grapple hook on a longer cooldown so you have to use it strategically? I would have loved deployable cover for some of these levels because of just how much rocket fire and grenades were being sent my way, and especially in cramped corridors. Even like a wrist or arm mounted shield that you could use to like deflect fire, and that was on a cooldown, that would have been appreciated. I just think there's so much they could have added that it might as well be called right now Halo campaign potential wasted. I can't figure out why they didn't expand any of these missions. The Silent Cartographer is great for its time, but you could have easily benefited from a larger island with more to do and explore. Maybe a few Covenant encampments to take out and get valuable data, or stuff like customization, or lore files that bridge the gap between Halo and Halo 2 Remake, which I would imagine is probably already in pre-production. It really feels like Halo Studios were operating at a loss with this game. They didn't change things they should have, and they changed things they shouldn't have. For instance, the game isn't consistent in some of the interactions the player can have with the environments. In the second mission Halo, your footprints and Warthog have zero interaction with the water. The water sound effects are pretty minimal too. But in the next mission, Silent Cartographer, the water and sand react to both the player and the vehicles. In 343 Guilty Spark, the water, again, does nothing. But then in Keys, the goo that you walk through that's leaking from the Covenant ship, it just doesn't make sense. It's like how they use two different liquid simulations or something, or they just retextured the water from the original Halo CE, and then they added liquid tessellation, or whatever you call it, to certain bodies of liquid. It just doesn't make any sense. And the cutscene transitions are also just a train wreck. The way they transition from gameplay into cutscenes is so jarring. Like 1 minute you're playing and then boom, there's a cutscene that just starts playing. There's no fade to black. Not like the OG game had. And at the end of the Halo mission, you wait for the Pelican to land and you choose when you, the player, want to get on it to end the mission. But in the remake, as soon as you kill all the enemies, it just starts playing this cutscene. Oh, it just into the cutscene. In the original game, you have to walk up to the ship and get in. The Pelican. I don't like that change at all. And then in Silent Cartographer, there is admittedly a badass intro. Like Master Chief's just standing up in the Pelican while it's flying and taking fire. He doesn't even care. But in the OG game, you get to see the battlefield as the Pelican flies in and drops you off. Not only is Master Chief standing in the remake, when it transitions to gameplay, you're sitting in the Pelican. Like, couldn't you just have us jump out of the Pelican already standing before it can even land? There are so many examples I could give, but you get the point. What I really want to get to now is the new voice lines. They're so different that at times I thought they had rewritten some of the script, because a lot of the new line delivery from Jen Taylor and the newly cast people for Johnson and Keyes sounds so different and completely against the vibe of the original. Earlier I talked about tonality, and Halo had this down pat. It's what defined the game and how the player perceived it. It struck this ominous tone so the rest of the game could soar. While none of the actors did a bad job, it does sound to me like they were casting for a Marvel movie. I'll just let you listen to these comparisons that I have drawn up, and you can come to your own conclusions.
I've picked up reports that the Covenant have located and secured the Pillar of Autumn's crash site. The good news is the captain is still alive. The bad news is that the Covenant have captured the entire surviving command crew.
Warning. I've picked up reports that the Covenant has located and secured the Pillar of Autumn's crash site. The good news is the captain is still alive. The bad news is that the Covenant have captured the entire surviving command crew.
You all right?
Never been better. You can't imagine the wealth of information, the knowledge. So much, so fast. It's glorious.
So what sort of weapon is it?
What are you talking about?
Let's stay focused. Halo, how do we use it against the Covenant?
This ring isn't a cudgel, you barbarian. It's something else. Something much more important.
You all right?
Never been better. You can't imagine the wealth of information. The knowledge, so much, so fast. It's glorious.
So, what sort of weapon is it?
What are you talking about?
Let's stay focused. Halo, how do we use it against the Covenant?
This ring isn't a cudgel, you barbarian. It's something else. Something much more important.
Wait. No, that can't be. Oh, those Covenant fools. They must have known that there must have been signs.
Slow down. You're losing me.
The Covenant found something buried in this ring. Something horrible. And now they're afraid.
Something buried? Where?
The captain. We've got to stop the captain.
Keys? What are
The
we...
weapons cache he's looking for. It's not really... We can't let him get inside.
I don't understand.
There's no time. Get out of here. Find keys. Stop him. Before it's too late.
Wait. No, that can't be. Oh, those Covenant fools. They must have known. There must have been signs.
Slow down. You're losing me.
The Covenant found something. Buried in this ring. Something horrible. And now they're afraid.
Something buried? Where?
The captain. We've got to stop the captain.
Keys? What
The
are we...
weapons cache he's looking for. It's not really... We can't let him get inside.
I don't understand.
There's no time. Get out of here. Find keys. Stop him. Before it's too late.
Man, here's where we show those split-chinned, squid-headed sons of bitches they couldn't have picked a worse enemy than the human race. We are going to blow the hell out of those dumb bugs until we don't have anything left to shoot them with. And then, we are gonna strangle them with their own living guts. Am I right, Marines?
Sir, yes, sir!
Mm-hmm, damn right I am. Now move it out, double time.
Woo, here we go!
Man, here's where we show those split-chin, squid-head sons of bitches that they could not have picked a worse enemy than the human race. We are going to blow the hell out of those dumb bugs until we don't have anything left to shoot them with. And then we are going to strangle them with their own living guts. Am I right, Marines?
Sir, yes, sir!
Mm-hmm. Damn right I am.
Keep in mind that Halo Studios kept all of the enemy and Marine dialogue from the original game and just remastered it, so I have no idea why they decided to recast roles and do more work, especially because the new work really subtracts from the experience. Halo Campaign Evolved is a looker, but it doesn't actually do anything to justify the resources it wasted to produce it. Maybe that justification will build as they remake the remaining Bungie games, but I don't know, I honestly can't see it. Everyone loves a good looking game, but it doesn't make a game worth playing. I'd honestly recommend playing the original or the Anniversary Edition, unless you're someone who can't stand older generation games. I probably have a lot more to say, and there are details I didn't discuss here, but the video is long enough. I had fun with this game, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, but I'd be a lot happier if the game was $40. And finally, to cap this off, I have a statement for Microsoft. Nostalgia is a lazy and incompetent way to push aside broader creativity, and this game is a prime example of that. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.